end up going over with you later on also, but we need to start talking about the logistics for the AP exam. If you're taking more than one AP exam, then this is going to come up in all of your classes, most likely. So I want to start talking about it today so that if we have any issues, we have plenty of time to fix them, find out about them, correct them, etc. So let me go through the updates. We're going to spend some time today talking about the way that your AP exam will be administered to you and what you need to do about that. And then we will watch Act 5. Hopefully I have my act together about the video. I'm sorry about that last week. I know that was a dodo thing to do, but sometimes that's what stress does to us, right? So we should be able to watch Act 5 today, though, which is the main attraction at the end of the play. So that's the goal for today. We don't have a ton of assignments. Mainly from here on out, we're going to be practicing for the AP exam. And I left over an assignment from last week and just changed the deadline through this week to help you out with, I could tell that people were getting a little jammed up with assignments at the end of the 6 weeks. So I just extended that one, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So just a reminder, this is a B week. That means that you've got a formative today and another one on Wednesday, but not one on Friday. We will have a full class period on Wednesday. We're going to do two very important things in class on Wednesday. One is that I want to go over the questions and answers from last week's multiple choice practice, the one that had one poetry and one prose and like 18 questions. And I want to kind of go through those passages and questions with you just to talk about the way the questions are being asked, some tips and tricks and things like that for multiple choice. If you haven't had a chance to do that, I think I checked this morning and 47% of the class had done that multiple choice practice. Then you do have until Wednesday to do that. But on Wednesday, I'm going to be going over all the answers and talking about why those are the correct answers and kind of like helping you with some strategies. So after Wednesday, it wouldn't really matter if you did those questions. And then also on Wednesday, we're going to do a 40-minute question 3-timed practice. So that one is that open question that we've been talking about. And I did a PowerPoint on that last week or the week before. So you will be able to use your chart where you created where you're reviewing all the major works that you've studied. So if between now and Wednesday you want to go and add Othello to that, or you've thought about it and there's a couple more pieces that you could add to that chart, you can use that on the timed practice that we're going to do on Wednesday. So we kind of have a full week. Friday we have off. Friday's a B day, so we don't have to worry about that. But that's just a little overview of what we're going to be doing on Wednesday. So I do need you to return on Wednesday. It's going to be like that a little bit leading up into the test, just to make sure that you feel comfortable with every aspect of the test. I don't ever know what passages or what literary devices are going to be on the exam. So we just practice with a variety of different pieces, and that usually does a good job of preparing us. I'll also say while I'm talking about that I added a new category down here. It's right under this week's stuff called Additional AP Study Resources. If you're feeling like there are certain aspects for this test that you would like to practice in more depth, and you don't want to set up tutorials with me, you kind of want to do them on your own time, I do have 4 resources here. They're all free that can give you some information and help for anything that you might be wondering about. This one right here is a PowerPoint that one of my colleagues at another school made about how to get the sophistication point, which is sort of like that thing that can bring you into a 6 or a 5 if you're at a 4 or a 5. So it's a PowerPoint, and it just sort of walks you through the viewpoint of how to get the sophistication point. This link right here, Practice AP Tests, you can go to this website, Marco Learning. Maybe you've heard of it before. We were kind of experimenting with that website earlier this year. We decided not to buy it, but it's only because it was so expensive, and AP Classroom, we're sort of required to use that. But there are some free practice tests, and the thing I like about this website is that we're doing multiple choice practices each week. This week we have another one. We're going to be talking about them. But if you wanted to sit down and just practice for 60 minutes and see how far you can get through a test, you can click here and take the practice test. And then they have explanations for all the answers over here. So you could kind of like bump up your multiple choice practice if you feel like that's something that you need to work on. I'm trying to give you resources. These are not assignments for grades. These are just things that if you feel like they would help you, you can spend a little more study time preparing for the AP exam and, more closely ensure that you'll get that college credit. Do make sure that you choose English literature, not English language. That's the junior level exam. So this is the one that we've been studying for. You don't want to get that one and go, what the heck is this? Mrs. Ramos didn't teach us any of this. Um, it's this one over here, right? Another thing that's on this list is a study guide. You can download a free study guide from that same website for AP English Literature. And then also College Board is starting this week, starting today. They're doing live streams of different topics. Different teachers get on and they have different topics that they talk about. You can see this one is scheduled for 5 o'clock. They're all 5 o'clock on different days leading up to the test. So you could kind of like, oh, I didn't mean to click on that. These are live sessions, so that means that you can't go in and watch it. I do think that they'll make it available to you to go back and watch it after the live session. But if you wanted to sit there and hear a different teacher talk, I mean, I have my own ways of saying things. And so maybe there's another AP teacher that would explain it in a, with a different facet or in a different way that would help something click for you. But they have those already all set up for the next 2 weeks, I think, where you can just sit in at 5 o'clock on these lives. They try not to overlap these times with other courses because of course they have the same live session for all AP exams. If you're taking other AP exams, you can, let me see if I can go to their thing. If you go to advanced placement, like if you're taking, oh, okay, welcome. If you're taking another test, if you're taking Euro, or if you're taking any of the computer science or math, chemistry or biology, any of the social sciences, you can, AP psychology, you can go and see what the times are and the playlists are for those other AP live sessions. So every subject on the AP exam, they've got live sessions set up for the next 2 weeks. Or you can go back and watch them, like I said, after the fact. But economics is there and so on. Your teachers are probably telling you about that, but just in case, you just go to advanced placement. You can just do a search on YouTube. It'll take you to this page and all the review sessions are just listed here based on subject. So you can choose whichever ones you think might be helpful to you. But what I linked over here specifically are the literature ones because that's the class we have. So you can, I'm probably sign on, 5 o'clock tonight and just see what this person is talking about. And I don't ever really disagree with them. They just have different ways of doing it. So that could be beneficial to you. So all of those links are right here. If I run into anything else, then I will put it on here. That way you have multiple resources and you're not just relying on me only to give you information about the AP exams. Okay, the other thing I wanted to talk about before we watch Act 5 is the test itself. You were able to choose what method you wanted to have for your test. And I already have the results of that survey that you did. So I need to talk to there's 3 different options. And so some of you have chosen option 1, some of you have chosen option 2, and some of you have chosen option 3. So I just want to do a preliminary overview today so that you can kind of know what's going to be expected of you when your testing day is and all of that stuff so that you can start to prepare, because there's different days and different modes and different things you have to do depending on which testing method you chose. So you will see posted below the instructions one of these 3 here. I have all 3 of them, but I only gave them to the people who signed up for those particular tests. So you either signed up for, I'm taking my pencil paper test on May 5th, or you signed up for, I'm taking the digital test at school, Only one person signed up for that. Or you signed up for, I want to take the digital test at home. And depending on what you chose depends on your preparation that you have to do for that day. So if you click on whichever one you have here, I'm going to go through all three of them so that, but I'll only be addressing the people who are taking that test. So if it's not you, you can just, sort of like tune out for that moment or just be aware, and you don't have to worry about it except for the one that you're doing. So the people who are taking the paper pencil exam are taking the test first. That day will be May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, not the party you were expecting. And these are the people who have signed up for the paper pencil test. So if your name is listed here, that means that you are coming to campus on May 5th at 7:30 in the morning and meeting in the small gym. And there will be other people testing besides you because there's another teacher on campus that teaches AP. I think there's 25 students or so that are supposed to take the paper pencil test that day. Bring your mask, etc. But you're testing live here at school in the gym in sort of the normal way. We'll be wearing masks and stuff and social distancing, but for the most part, the test is going to be just like any other AP exam. So if you see your name here on this list, that's you. And you'll see that there is a whole separate section right here with your names here and the things that you need to do to prepare for that test. You only have two things. The live paper pencil test doesn't have a lot of extra stuff to do because you're just going to show up and take the test. But you do need to go and review the terms and conditions. You only need to do that once for all of your AP exams. You don't have to do that for every AP exam, but the link is here. And then you come to the gym on May 5th. I'll be over there probably 7:30, 7:45. I'm allowed to greet you before the test starts. So I'll be there to wish you good luck and all that good stuff. And then you'll go into the gym and test. I forget who's giving you the test. I think it might be Mr. Medina. Usually a different AP teacher is giving you the test. So if you're doing paper pencil, that part is for you. Now, if you're doing digital testing, unfortunately, your situation is a little more complicated because we have to make sure that all of your computer stuff is working, and the College Board has some very specific guidelines for that. So all the people who are doing digital exams, I've listed you right here. And then notice that next to it is your location for that digital testing. The only person who is going to be testing at school on the digital exam from this class is Melissa. So everybody else is going to be doing digital at home. Now that means that you have to make sure that your computer is set up for the platform so that you can do that. So you can click down here and you can see if you're testing digital at school, then obviously we're going to have the computer, everything will be set up here for you to do that. But you're going to have to make sure that you have all the computer components set up. And I'll talk about both of the digital testing setups in a second. If you are testing digital at home, then you have your guidelines here as well. All right. Now here's the thing with the digital testing. With the digital testing, you have to use their platform and you have to download their app. You cannot take the test without the College Board app. So you have to download it. Now, if you have a school Chromebook that you checked out, then the school is going to put that onto your Chromebook. So you don't have to worry about downloading it. Maybe it should already be there. If you are using your own laptop or a Chromebook that is not from the school, any kind of computer that is not a school Chromebook, then you are going to have to be responsible for going onto the website and downloading the app that you need. So if you're doing digital either way, at school or at home, if you're using a Chromebook that's from the school, then that's getting pushed out to you. You can check it and see if your Chromebook already has it. The way that you check that is to turn off your Chromebook, turn it on, and before you sign into Google, you go down to the bottom down here in the left, and it will say apps, just like when you're taking, if you ever did the STAR test online. It will pop up and it will say apps and it will say AP testing. So then you click on that. If you log into Google and Chrome, then it won't show and you won't be able to get that app. So you have to, when you're ready to do that. So if you have your own computer though, and it's not a school Chromebook, then you're going to have to go to this website here and download and install that app yourself. So that can be a little bit complicated. They are having a session this Friday. If you know that you're not using a school Chromebook and for your AP exams, then you might want to make some time this Friday to come in to room 127, which is a computer lab. There's going to be, one of the tech people there to help you make sure that you've downloaded and installed that platform onto your own computer, and they'll help you with any questions. They'll practically do it for you. But if you wait past Friday, you're going to have to figure it out yourself. And if it glitches on test day, there's nothing we can do to help you if you're at home. There's no technical way for us to do that. If you're at school, then you'll obviously will be able to try to help you. But there's only one person who's going to be here. Everybody else is going to be either paper, pencil, or digital at home. So read through these instructions. What they want you to do is download that interface if you're doing a digital test, whether you're at home or at school, and then practice with it. Practice opening it, make sure it works with your computer, make sure that you know how to navigate within the app. I think when it first launches, it will give you a tutorial. So you're responsible for doing all that. I have no way of doing that for you or making that for you because I can't get the platform myself. I'm not taking the test. So the sooner that you do that, if you're digital testing, the easier it will be for you to know. Now you have to use that exact same computer when you do your test. In other words, once you launch the app, then the whole test is connected to that computer. So if you have a computer that is your preferred computer, that's going to work better for you, it makes better connections, it doesn't have problems, then that's the one that you should download for the digital platform. But you can't download the platform to one computer, try it out, and then go to another computer and download it again and try to take the test on that one. You have to download it on the computer that, take it on the computer that you downloaded. I'm hoping all that makes sense. But the links are all here for you. If you're taking a digital test, you should review this PowerPoint. Ms. Sid went through this with the parents on the AP Parent Information Night. It's also over here for the one person who is doing digital at school. So this will walk you through how do you get that app, how do you navigate once you're in there. Remember that if you're taking the paper pencil exam, you can flip in your booklet, you'll be able to go back and forth between questions, you can skip a passage and come back to it. If you're taking the digital test, you will not be able to do that. You'll have to work through the test in order. You won't be able to go back and look at previous questions. But if you're taking the digital test, your test is not until May 18th. So you have a little bit more time to practice with the app. 2 days after we take the paper pencil test, I will have the free response questions from that test. So maybe we'll go over them and it will be a little good preview for the people that are taking the digital test on the 18th. So that's some stuff that we can still do before you take your tests. I know I've said a lot about that. Are there any questions about any of the testing types? If what I said confused you, then I want you to send me an email and I will set up a time with you to go through exactly what you need to do. But I think that if you go through and just look to see where your name is here and make sure that you're aware of how you're going to be testing, there's no way you can change your testing format now. If you signed up for digital and you want to change to paper pencil, that is not possible. All the tests are already here on campus. They're already in secured location. There's not a test for you. So all of this is going to stay the way that it is. But what we can do is help you be prepared for your method. That's why we had that Google form that Ms. Sid put out to make sure everybody was signing up for the version of the test that they wanted to do. I don't see anybody with any questions in the chat or anything. can touch on this again. Again, I'm only mentioning it right now because we're a couple weeks out. I want to make sure that everybody knows what's happening. It's a little complicated. So everybody gets the help that they need between now and the test, and nobody's at the last minute freaking out because they don't know what to do. So we'll talk about it again. But if you have questions, just send me an email. If we need to, we can jump on a quick Zoom call and I'll walk you through what you need to do. And like I said, on Friday, they're having that session here on campus if you're using your own laptop. All right, let me go through this week's assignments and then I will play the film. There's only about 25 minutes left in the film, so I think it should work out just right. This week, on Wednesday, we're going to have a timed essay. We have a full class on Wednesday, so please make sure that you remind yourself to attend. I don't always have Wednesday meetings, but getting closer to the exam, I think it's just more helpful to do that. The more prepared you are, the less nervous you'll be, is my motto. So we'll have a practice free response question. I put it down here, number 3, which is the open question. So you can use your chart. You can review the PowerPoint that I did a couple of weeks ago. You can look at the rubric, the way that that one will be scored. And just like all the other ones that we've practiced, I will give you feedback and tell you what I think your score would be and give you some like internal notes about some strengths and weaknesses of that particular response once we do it. So that's going to be a 40-minute timed situation. You can use your major works chart. So if that one's filled out, then have it available there on your computer and you can use that. You can't use it on the day of the test, but while we're practicing, we can to help us prepare. Also on Wednesday, I am going to go through multiple choice practice 2. 7 of you already turned that in. That was due today before class, but I extended it to Wednesday because I'm not going to be able to talk about it until Wednesday. So those of you who haven't done it yet, you can still go to AP Classroom and work on multiple choice practice number 2, and then it will really make sense to you on Wednesday when I go over the questions. It will be kind of fresh in your mind. Oh, I marked D, but she's explaining why the answer was B, and then you'll kind of see how that worked out. And so if you haven't had a chance to do that, I recommend it. If you don't take that practice test, it's not a grade, but I feel like you'll be kind of lost on Wednesday, and there's no point really of, you won't be able to see how you would have done, basically. And that's the whole point of practicing right now. There is another practice for next Wednesday. So next Wednesday, we're going to do that again. This is a longer practice test. This is 4 passages. This week we had 2. How many will be on the test total? 5. So, right. So I can't just give you 2 and 2 and 2. That's babies. That's baby steps. We have to move up. So this week, you have 4 passages, 2 poetry and 2 prose. There are 40 questions and you have 1 hour. On the actual AP exam, you will have 55 questions, 5 passages, and 1 hour. So you can see how we're kind of moving toward that expectation in May. So that one is not due until next Wednesday. And then the only other thing that you need to do this week is finish up. If you have not turned in your concept tracker and your themes for Othello, you have until this Friday to do that. I extended that because I saw that people were pretty jammed up with their workload. So it's okay. We can move into finishing up Othello this week.
Wait, Miss, for the concept tracker, can we like unsubmit it and like redo it?
Yeah, do you want me to just send them all back to you?
Yeah, that'd be good.
I can just send them out, return them to everybody, and then you can resubmit. Is that okay with everybody? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you definitely, if you have, more to put on there, then you can. I'll make a note. I'll do it right after class is finished today. So that's the only thing that's due this Friday. We're going to do this one in class on Wednesday, this one, and talk about that one. And then you have another multiple choice practice to do. All right, questions before I switch over to the film? The problem is that when I go full screen, it knocks out the chat on my computer. So I couldn't see that you guys were telling me that you couldn't hear it, but I mean, I do know what to do. I don't know, my brain's fried. All right, so we're gonna pick up with the beginning of Act